One thing I'm going to show you today will make me $480,000 this year. And why I'm so confident about this is because after I implemented this, I immediately made 21.7K. But on the other hand, our clients, like for example, Emerald, went from debt to making $15,000 in less than 2 months of us implementing this system. And our newest client, Ballo, booked 6 calls in the last 48 hours at the point of recording this video. So I just know this actually works. And now you're probably thinking like, Robert, I've seen the title. How can one spreadsheet make you $480,000? And the truth is, this is not just one spreadsheet. It's actually more than that. And it's much more about what's behind this spreadsheet and what it allows you to do as a coach or a consultant. But I know for a fact most coaches and consultants don't even want to think about this because it's just boring and it's not sexy. But it's the exact reason why most of them never hit past the 10 to 15K ceiling. Because they don't have the system, they are fluctuating a lot. Sometimes they make 10 to 15K a month, but sometimes they make like $3,000 a month. Though they already have the demand for their offer. But the thing is just something is off. And that's what we figured out. I realized what this problem is. And after solving it for myself and for my clients, we will be able to scale to consistent 50K months, which will allow us by the end of this year to make $480,000. So right now, I will get into what this problem is and how can you immediately solve this problem for yourself. So let's get into it. Now, I don't want to offend you, but I want to get straight into the problem. I'm pretty sure that you're blindfolded right now. Now, what do I mean? You're blindfolded about what's actually happening inside your business. Because simply said, you don't have the right data in front of you. So every decision you make is not a strategic business decision, but rather you're guessing. And that's why you're working 10 hours a day and you're still stuck at the same income. Let's play a hypothetical and say that you made 4.8K cash last month with your coaching business. And right now you are thinking, how can you scale to the next level? Meaning what decision to make that will actually get you to that 10, 15 or 20K cash. So you're like, should I hire an appointment setter? Should I post more on YouTube? Should I focus or double down on IG? Should I run ads or should I change my offer? But if you don't have hard, precise data, you will not be able to make the right decision. It's like playing chess with a blindfold on. Like you're making moves on the board, but knows what? But now let's do a different scenario. You made the same amount, 4.8K cash, and you see that 78% of that income came from YouTube. The rest is from IG. And on YouTube, 2 videos generated 80% of that revenue, and the other 14 videos that you already published generated the rest 20% of the YouTube income. And on IG, you booked 1 call from your IG bio, but that person had a bunch of objections, and the person who came from your appointment setting system paid a PIF and had 0 objections. Now, in this scenario, you can make a very good decision. You can double down on YouTube with those specific video ideas that generated 80% of your income that month. And on your IG, you can hire an appointment setter who can actually do the appointment setting process for you because as you see, you get PIF deals from your appointment setting system. But again, if you wouldn't have the data, you could decide that, I need to run ads and that's going to get me to 10K a month. Like, man, like wake up. If you don't have data, you are guessing. So that's what you need to focus on and nothing else. So now that my point is clear, you understand what you actually need in order for you to scale. Just as we did with our clients and we are going to do end this year with 480K cash collected. So now maybe you question like, Robert, what data do I track? And actually, how do I track the data? So let me actually show you. Now, before I would actually show you how this dashboard works, how can you implement it for yourself, and how can you make the right decisions after you have this implemented for yourself, I have to give you some context. First of all, you need to understand that this is specifically for our funnels, the funnels we implement for our clients, which is divided into 5 different sections: the attention generation, the trust building, the conversion, the sales, and the onboarding process. And what I will break down for you right now is how do we actually check every part of this process and how do we ensure that we make the right decision. And the second thing I need to preface before explaining it is that it took me a whole ass weekend to set this whole dashboard up. So if you guys want a complete breakdown on how to set it up for your business with Go High Level, Airtable, and every single detail it requires, comment down that, hey Robert, I want this specific breakdown, and I will do that for you. Otherwise, I will only go through how to use it for yourself because it would just take me so much time to explain. And in reality, what you need as a coach or a consultant is to understand what decisions you need to make in order for your coaching business to scale, not how to set up one tracker sheet. So let's get into it. So as you can see, we have 4 groups here: the funnel metrics, the high ticket sales dashboard, the appointment setting breakdown, Then we have the free training funnel. Now let's go through them one by one. Starting with the funnel metrics. The funnel metrics is the simplest one. We track what kind of data do we have about our funnels. How many people show up, how many people book a call. The same with the free training, how many people show up, how many people opt in, how many people book a call. This is really important because this is the first thing you need to be able to understand whether you have a content problem, so you don't have traffic, or you have a problem that your VSLs or your offers don't convert. Or maybe potentially you have a backend problem where your systems, automations don't really want to work, where people are literally not able to book a call. Also, I forgot to mention, but each of these metric is for our current client. It is from Bello, everything you can see there. But also, he's the exact guy I told you that we booked 6 calls in the last 48 hours. So let's continue with the second part, which is the high ticket sales dashboard. Now here we are tracking a lot of different details, as you can see, but I don't want to go and explain each of them. I want you to understand why is each part is important and how can you properly make good decisions for yourself. We have 2 important details at the top. One is the revenue. This is the pipeline revenue that we already collected, but this still needs to come in. This is the cash collected, the money that we already have. So we could have the same amount of people closed. This could be $10,000 and this could be $15,000, because this shows how much we already collected and this shows how much we are going to collect over the weeks and months after the rest of the payment is going to come through. Now we have something really important not a lot of people think about is the cash collected after fees. This is the actual money that you have, which you can run back into your business. Now this doesn't exclude the money that you made with your appointment setters or for your closers or let's say your growth operator. This is only after the fees from the payment processors. Then we have the cash collected per call taken. How much money do you make per call that is booked on your calendar? And the average order value is basically how much money do you get on average on a call which closes. And this is the part which tracks the revenue. Now why this is really important is this is where you can make the best business decisions. Meaning, am I going to run ads? Do we want to run ads? So for example, if you see that you cash collected last month 7.8k, you can immediately decide that, wait, I have 7.8k, why don't we just run back 4k into ads and see what happens, because I can live on the rest of the 3.8k. Now let's talk about the second thing, which is the actual sales data that you need to know, which is how many calls you booked, how many calls have been already taken, how much is your close rate, how much is your show rate, total no-show rate, disqualification rate. Now this may seem complicated, but I will tell you what is important about this. The total calls booked is like how much calls you booked on the calendar. But the live calls actually tell you exactly how many of those calls are actually good, like they didn't cancel. And this is important. And when you add to that the disqualification rate, meaning those people who actually appear on the calls, how many of them are disqualified, you can very quickly tell where you have the problem. Like, are you not making money because people are canceling? Are you not making money because they are disqualified? Or are you not making money because they are not showing up? And the other two is like how much do you close and how much is your show rate. Now when this becomes very beautiful is when you start testing. Like in your post-booker call automations and systems, you start testing different YouTube videos, different post-booker call assets, and checking which leads to bigger close rates and which leads to bigger show rates. And this is all possible because when you have the right dashboard set up, based on the call date, you can tell when the call was happening, how much cash and these sorts of things you collected. Meaning if you drew a timeline and potentially on February, let's say 16th, you make a change to your system, you can immediately see the difference between this timeline with your sales calls and also this timeline to now, allowing you to be super precise what had a positive impact on your business and what had a negative impact on your business. And from there, you have the ability to make very small, tiny decisions that will slowly add up and will make you have the compounding effect inside your business, where next thing you see is you're making 100k a month. But now I want to talk about the thing that I like the most. And what is it? The breakdown of how did we collect the cash, where people booked from, where did they enter the funnel, and what exact page or by person did they book from. The cash collected by distribution is right now non-existent. But what would be here is whether people did PIV deals, whether they done split payments, and here you can see where people actually came from, like what platform, is it IG or YouTube, the two platforms you actually need. what was the entry point? Now we only have calls from IG, right? 77% of our book calls came from the DMs. So we know how important it is for us right now to focus on the DMs, while the IG bio works well, but not that well. So we need to focus on getting more people inside our funnels through the IG bio. And when it came to the prospect booking the calls, where did they actually book a call? And we can see here that there was 77% of the people booked from by the setter actually booking them on, 11% was by the book a call page, 11% by the free training page. Now, what's the beautiful part of this part of the system? Well, let me tell you, with our tracker system, you can actually select and filter that. For example, where did most of your PIF deals come from? And you will see, well, it's YouTube. I don't know, 70% and 30% on IG. Then you're like, oh my God, I shouldn't focus more on IG. I should focus more on YouTube. Or where did the people enter our funnel when it came to PIF deals? Well, it was the YouTube organic VSL. Then we know we need to drive more traffic to the YouTube organic VSL. And so all of these little nuances allows you to actually scale your business. I cannot emphasize how important it is to have all of these little details correct 24/7. But that was the high ticket sales dashboard. Let's move to the appointment setting. Here again, we have a bunch of data, but what's important is how many people we contacted, how many booked, and what are the conversion rates based on people getting through our appointment setting process. And now again, this is the beauty where we can see which appointment setter booked most of our calls and what opener they used. And what this allows us to do is to tell which appointment setter is a good person, which appointment setter should we, give bonuses to and, make them want to work more because they're doing a good job. This process allows you to hire your employees strictly on data. They're not going to be like, oh my God, I did the right job. Like, no, we have the data. You had this booking rate while another person had that booking rate. What's the problem? You haven't improved the last 7 days. Poof, done. Next person, or you get someone to train that person. Now, besides having all of this data, we also have an end of the day form that the setter has to fill out, which will immediately tell us exactly what is the prospect's common pain points, what are the prospect's common desires, what is the lead quality, and what is the lead temperature. And what this tells us is what kind of content we should be creating more, because this is the exact pains that our ICP faces, then what kind of content we should create to tackle their desires. And right there we have the lead quality, meaning that day how good was the lead quality. And this is really important again, because based on what kind of content you're publishing that day, we can tell how much or how good quality leads did we actually get, because we have also the lead temperature, how much they're interested in buying the program. And there is one more thing which is really important for you, and that's the appointment setting flow breakdown. Right now this is empty, but what this will show up after the setter fills it out today, who did he contact and where? So for example, he contacted 90 people who were our followers that day, and he contacted, 10 people who were replying to stories, and he also contacted 3 people who commented on one of our videos. And so we immediately know exactly who did we start talking to, where, and what are the appointment booking rates from there. So we can make very good decisions on, do we actually need more appointment setters? Because if the time is we have so much followers, we have so much new commenters that one person just cannot handle it anymore, we know that we need to have more appointment setters. And the last part I want to talk about is the free training funnel. Now, what is this? The free training funnel breaks down how many people opted in, how many people booked, how many people we have contacted already, what is the platforms they came from, what is the entry point they actually came through, and the actual people who came through, seeing whether we contacted them, whether they actually booked. Now, why this is important is because we can know whether we have to improve on the free training funnel itself in order for us to get more booked calls from it, but also we know how much people have actually booked. So whether we are trying to run ads later down the line, we should get people immediately into our free training funnel, or should we get them somewhere else? And on the other hand, we are also able to contact these leads immediately after they book the call, which will get us the leverage that these people just consumed hours of our content and they are ready to buy from us. In a short but in-depth explanation, that's our our tracking system that allows us and also our clients to scale past 50K a month, which will allow us just this year to generate $480,000. Just to wrap this up, if you want to implement this dashboard for yourself and you want to track every single metric so you know actually what's happening inside your business, or you also want to set up the funnels that you can see right here, you can book a call with us immediately in the link down below and we can see whether this would actually be a good fit. Peace.